Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we pull apart the source material to find the core truth of the work. Today we're looking at something a little different, not just a story, but, well, the emotional architecture behind one. We're focused on the children's book, The Kindness Quest, The Adventures of Luma and the Lost Light.
And it is such a rich topic for a deep dive. I mean, on the surface, it's a simple lyrical read aloud for kids, ages 5 to 8. But when you look at the creative notes, the team built it with this incredibly clear, almost robust intention. It's meant to be a tool for social-emotional learning, for SEL.
Exactly, and that's our mission today. We want to get past the plot and really analyze the design choices, the tone, the art, the language, all the things that let this book teach these really big abstract ideas like empathy and courage without sounding like a lecture. How did they pull that off?
Well, I think it starts with the central metaphor, which is just brilliant in its simplicity. The sources make it clear the stakes aren't, about saving the world in a big, flashy way. They're emotional, they're visual. The world's colors are literally fading away because people have forgotten how to be kind.
So young girl Luma has to bring it all back.
Right, guided by this little glowing glow bird. And she restores the light, the color, by doing these small, simple acts of compassion. It creates this powerful, immediate link. Your internal choice has a real tangible effect on the outside world.
Okay, let's unpack that. How do they build what the notes call an emotional safe space?
Sure.
If we start with the writing style, it's described as a lyrical read aloud, full of rhythmic lines and gentle repetition. For that 5 to 8 age group, how does that cadence create a feeling of safety?
Oh, it's crucial. I mean, for cognitive reasons, that rhythm is everything. When a kid hears predictable, flowing language, it lowers their cognitive load, their stress response goes down. The sources kept emphasizing the tone was warm, hopeful, gently magical, and importantly, non-didactic.
So you're not fighting the message.
You're not. You're just carried along by this current of pleasant sound. It bypasses that natural resistance kids have to being told what to do, right? And the repetition helps them remember these big themes, but it feels like a comforting ritual, not like a lesson being hammered home.
So if the words create this, like auditory safety blanket, the art is what builds the psychological foundation. The style is so specific in the notes. Hand-painted watercolor plus gouache, soft ink line work on textured paper. Why watercolor? Why is that medium so essential for a safe emotional space?
Because it's inherently soft. I mean, think about it. It doesn't have the hard, sharp edges of, say, a digital comic or a bold line drawing. Watercolor and gouache, they bleed into each other. They create texture. It's a visual that feels nurturing, like a hug. There are no harsh lines that can trigger anxiety. The whole look is designed to soothe.
And what's so fascinating is how that softness is actually the teaching mechanism. I'm talking about the color script.
Yeah.
It's not just there to be beautiful. It's a diagram of emotional impact.
Precisely. We know the story starts in this dim, desaturated world. It's like a visual for emotional numbness, really. And the source materials say each kindness restores saturation and light. This is where the psychology comes in. They're giving the child immediate, visible feedback for a positive action.
Right, and here's the key point from the analysis. It says they use a subtle, volumetric glow whenever kindness occurs, and this golden hour warmth. It's not just about making things brighter, it's a tangible visual confirmation that your choice had an instant positive effect on your reality. It's like a nonverbal positive reinforcement system.
Yes, it's teaching cause and effect, but in the world of emotions, you learn that compassion isn't just a nice feeling inside you. It actively, physically changes the world for the better, and they even have specific theme colors like sunshine yellow, sky blue that flood back into the world. So the reward is specific, it's emotionally resonant.
So the aesthetics create this safety net. Now let's talk about the themes that drive the actual growth. Luma's journey is the model for the reader, and the sources stress that her heroism comes from soul gestures. It's the heroism of the accessible.
Yeah, the book is very intentional about that. The quest isn't some impossible task. It's a series of achievable everyday actions. Luma starts her journey with a small, brave yes, and that tells the young reader right away, you don't need superpowers, you just need intention.
The sources break down Luma's actions into these distinct types of what they call emotional labor. Can you walk us through those? Without giving away the plot, of course.
Sure. It goes way beyond just, giving someone a cookie. There's what's called restorative care. That's about recognizing when someone or something needs support. So helping a tired neighbor or even just bracing a little sapling against the wind. It teaches that kindness extends to your whole environment. Then there's inclusion and sharing, which is about actively noticing when someone is left out and making space for them. A huge deal in early social dynamics.
And maybe the hardest one at any age.
Yeah.
Encouragement and validation.
Absolutely. The notes highlight a moment where Luma supports someone who is nervous. She offers to be their first audience. She provides the steady, supportive presence until their confidence grows. And that takes real empathy, right? To see vulnerability in someone else and offer targeted support, not just, a generic, you can do it.
And that need for empathy, for courage, it leads right into the book's core conflict. Because there's no villain, no dragon to slay. The ultimate antagonist, according to the notes, is doubt.
Right, and doubt, as they define it, grows when people feel small.
So, if doubt is the enemy, then courage isn't about fighting. It's about actions that build people up, that make them feel seen.
Exactly. The sources show that Luma's courage is expressed through these very vulnerable acts. One of the biggest ones is the courage to just listen. To listen to someone's hurt.
How is listening an act of courage in this context?
Well, when Luma finds someone who's, say, grumpy or closed off, the brave thing to do isn't to confront them, it's to try and understand them. The courage is in setting aside her own discomfort and basically asking, I can see you're struggling, what's going on? Leaning into that potential conflict with empathy, that's a massive lesson for a young kid.
And that bravery also has to be turned inward, toward yourself. The sources mention a moment where Luma makes a mistake and has to ask for forgiveness. That choice to make amends restores so much light, which shows the quest is internal too.
Which brings us to maybe the most important part of the book, self-kindness. After doing all these kind things, Luma feels wobbly tired, just exhausted. And her guide, Glowbird, tells her something crucial. Kindness includes you.
I remember that feeling as a kid, thinking being good meant you had to just give and give until you had nothing left. I totally missed that part of the equation. That moment where she just stops and rests and lets her strength come back. That's a profound lesson in sustainability, isn't it?
It is. It's teaching kids that emotional labor takes energy, and you have to recharge. You can't be a source of light for others if your own light has gone out. It makes the whole idea of kindness sustainable, not just a one-time burst. It ties back so perfectly to the author's dedication. For every child who chooses kindness, even when it's hard, even when no one sees, the power is in the quiet internal choice.
And that really sets up the book's transition from just a story into a practical tool.
Yeah.
It's explicitly marketed as an SEL tool for parents, teachers, anyone working with kids on emotional growth.
Exactly. The creators built in this scaffolding for engagement. There's a section called How to Use This Book. And it immediately prompts the reader, both the child and the adult, to integrate the lesson. Things like, drawing something kind they did that day.
I thought the idea of adding a star for every act of kindness you notice was particularly brilliant. It's a direct mirror of how Luma's actions restore the stars to the sky in the book.
Yes, it sort of gamifies it, but the real power is that it shifts the child's focus. You're not just training them to do kindness, you're training them to notice kindness out in the world. And that's a huge step in developing empathy. You start celebrating goodness everywhere, not just waiting for a reward for your own actions.
So if you connect that back to emotional intelligence, you're essentially using the story to build a positive feedback loop, training a child's brain to look for the good.
Which is an invaluable skill, and it all culminates in this kindness pledge at the end, which is basically the curriculum summary, and it goes into some really high-level emotional commitments.
Let's touch on a few of those, because they show the real depth of the lesson here, including that idea of self-forgiveness.
The pledge is so thoughtful. It says, I promise to help others whenever I can, listen with care and patience, share what I have, and then, forgive when it's hard, be kind to myself too. Notice how it pairs helping others with patience. Listening with patience is such a mature form of kindness.
And as we said, be kind to myself too, closes the loop. It makes the practice sustainable. It all comes back to the author's core idea, that every small kind act can help bring light back into the world.
Right, and the final line, the world brightens when you carry light together with care always. It turns reading into this ritual of emotional commitment. The child becomes an active participant.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We dove into the kindness quest to show how its gentle art, its lyrical words, and its very intentional story mechanics all work together. It's a resource designed to spark deep conversations and build these powerful family or classroom rituals around empathy.
And I think the final message of the book is really the most profound takeaway. At the very end, the stars themselves spell out a message in the sky. The kindness quest continues. It's not a one-and-done achievement. kindness isn't a badge you earn. It's a continuous practice, a choice you have to make every single day. And that's ongoing commitment, even when you're wildly tired. That's the real way you keep the light on for yourself and for everyone around you.
A truly beautiful way to look at it. If you're looking for something for a child or a classroom, or maybe just for yourself, that can help nurture that emotional intelligence through beauty and metaphor, consider this book. It's a great reminder that all you need is that one small, brave yes to start making the world a little brighter.